evening wherever you are. I'm Trisha Mukhopadhyay, and you are welcome to our podcast. Happiness is Simple podcast with Trisha. When sound turns up high, higher, highest, what happens? Noise pollution. Oh my gosh. And nobody likes that. But if the same sound, just by changing some frequencies, help us rejuvenate, re energize, bring about the balance in our lives, what do you do? Well, I'm quite intrigued when my friend Anu found out that there is one such place in the Himalayas. It's a recent discovery about sound healing. Sound healing. So, without much ado, I'd like to welcome my friend Anu Vittal with our featured guest Adnan. Let me bring them on camera. Hi Anu. Hi Adi.
Hello.
Hello. So we are here. Great to see you, Anu. After such
Lovely
a
to
long
see you
time.
too.
It is so wonderful. It's
And the
amazing.
word happiness is such a beautiful sound in itself. We're
It is.
so lucky to be here with Adnan Vahanvaty in this beautiful heel farm
Thank you.
in
Lovely
Bhinta.
to be with you
Likewise.
and all of you.
I was telling my viewers that how you came up to me saying that there's a discovery going on and you found out about this beautiful place where one gets healed through sounds. I want to know all about it. So please help me learn about what sound does in case of healing. Let us
So,
introduce our featured guest, Adnan Vahanvaty.
absolutely. What a joy to be here. And the experience that I had with Adnan was one of the most beautiful discoveries to be healed through sound. And Adnan is also the founder of the farm, and he is the resident healer, and he guides people through meditation and through sound healing, and always asking the existential question: we are here to learn how to die, and to be with one with nature is to live. He's an adventure seeker. He's scaled rocks, taken flight, rolled in rapids, free dived with turtles, descended canyons, experienced real hunger, gone deep within, and come back as a student of life. And he heals people through sound. He's built a beautiful sonorium. So we shall learn more from Adnan on how he got involved in this beautiful journey of sound, and what was your inspiration?
Thank you, Anu. Thank you, Trisha, for having me on the show. Uh, sound. Sound is a very, very vast subject. We use sound every day in our lives, and sound, in fact, impacts us all the time. The sounds that you're hearing now, right? It's not only the ears which are receiving the sound, it's every cell of our body which actually also receives that vibration. So we hear not only through our ears, but our entire being. Sound works in three different ways upon the human system. It works upon the body by detoxifying it through the water molecules. So when you add a sound to water, it holds a certain shape and form. When it holds a certain shape and form, that's good for your system, right? It'll just wash through your entire system, giving you all of these beautiful effects and allowing for anything that's stuck to be released. That's how it works on the physicality. It works through mind or brain wave entrainment.
Mhm.
You see, when we're actively listening or actively really paying attention, our brain operates at about 30 to 40 hertz. But when we are in deep, restive, restorative, healing sleep, it is at that moment when our brain waves go down to about zero point 0.5 to 4 hertz. And that gives such a calming effect upon the body because the brain's let go of everything, the body's let go of everything, and you're in this deep, restive, restorative space, which just makes you heal. This happens to us when we sleep. Using sound, we can extend that journey of being in that space. The third way it works is energetically. So we have energy centers in our body. They correlate to certain notes and certain sounds. It's essentially the ratio. You see, there's a physical distance between the Muladhara to the Swadhisthana to the Manipura to the Anahata to the Vishuddhi, which is the throat chakra, and then the Sahasrara, which is the crown chakra, and the other chakras in between. There's this physical distance, right? In notes, in sounds from the Sa Re Ga Ma Pa Dha Ni Sa or the C D E F G A B C or the Do Re Mi Fa Sol La Ti Do, the distance between them in hertz mirrors the physical distance between the chakras. And so it creates a very um, sound actually impacts the energy system in such a way because of the physical distance between all of them.
Mhm.
Right? And so, yeah.
That's beautiful. So we did talk once about how, the five elements that
Mhm.
exist in nature, earth, fire, water, air, spirit, which also exist within us as divine beings and bring us into synchronicity, especially when we're in nature. And for example, you talked about water. Water is in the same composition within us as it is in nature. So, how does sound work with those elements in our body systems when you do a sound healing?
Hmm. You see, every element has its own nature. Fire is erratic. At the same given point of time, it's transformative. So, the seat of the fire is in the Manipura, the solar plexus chakra. The seat of water is in the Swadhisthana, the sacral chakra. And the seat of earth is in the Muladhara, the chakra near the spine, the lowest part of the spine. To use sounds which create a feeling of fire, erratic, transformative, fiery. I mean, fiery, fiery, right? You light a fire, you hear the sounds of the crackling wood. That too is the sound of fire. Every, you know, experience that we have, we as humans, as emotional beings, evoke a memory and a thought evokes an emotion. The memory evokes an emotion, and the emotion evokes a memory or a thought. Using that process, one can actually bring to the forefront certain spaces that people have been in the past and use that to transform a person's current existential state and point them in the direction as to where they would like to really go. So we use elements in that sense, an elemental approach. The other way that the elemental approach can work is, you see, you've got five elements, and then from that you have six tastes. Those six tastes affect the bodily humors as per Ayurveda, Vata, Pitta, Kapha. It also affects the state of being Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. That I like to actually correlate in a way to say that sound, so the Vata, Pitta, and Kapha would actually be treble, mid, and bass. So you can actually adjust and fine tune this balance to bring the person back to their true nature and receive a certain amount of equanimity and or heal in whichever sense that one wants to heal.
Right. You talked about all of us having a certain frequency.
Hmm.
And does that frequency modulate between your life situations? For example, if someone's feeling a little low or depressed or suffering some kind of a trauma, what could be some of the things that they could do to increase their frequency through sound?
I don't really know if one really wants to increase their frequency uh, in that sense. I think we all want to find the right frequency for the right moment.
Mhm.
So we could want to decrease it also for that matter. The simplest way of knowing your frequency is to first lie down, relax. You will need to use a tuner for this. So put a tuner and a friend, of course. Your friend's going to have a look at the screen, okay? Because your eyes are going to be closed. So you lie down, you close your eyes, you breathe, you relax, and you relax even more. When you reach a very relaxed state, you're almost close to dozing off. You let out the most relaxed, deepest sound that you can. Something like this. You use the tuner. Bring the tuner. Your friend brings the tuner closer to your mouth where the sound is coming out from. And they look at the frequency. You could be an A, you could be a B, you could be a G, you could be an E. That is your most restive frequency in that moment. So, what you want to do is, if you want to come from a place of connectedness from the heart, you want to hit the note which would be the F note correlative to the bass note that you've got going. Now, that bass note is going to be your C. It might read an E, but that will be your C, right? The Sa. So they say the Sa could be anything, but when you uh, go through the notational system, it's just the distance between the notes which make it sound really nice.
Mhm.
So the scale, right? The scale changes. So you can, once you found your bass note, right? What you really want to do is then stay with that bass note for a little while. And as you stay with that bass note, you're connecting with the earth. You're connecting with your earth. You're connecting with the Muladhara. That's the most lowest bass note that you've got going. And then you want to raise it up and go through all the other notes. And you can stop wherever you feel it, where you want to feel it. You can stop near the chest when you feel that vibration as you go up and further up. Once in a while, you see, we're really tense and things like that. So we want to lower our frequency, we want to come down. So when we want to come down, we want to just go down to that bass note and hum. That's what you can do. I mean, it's a brilliant practice. You can just sit and hum, your eyes closed. And you can reach the frequency you want.
Wow, you
Yeah.
made it sound so simple. I know that you've had many years of training at Swaram in Pondicherry, where your
Yes.
guru is. So tell us a little bit about your journey and what made you seek out sound healing for yourself.
So Aurelio is a brilliant man. He is just amazing. He connects with everything so well and so fluidly. It was great being in his presence and learning from him. Svaram is this beautiful place that he's created. It's his idea, it's his thought, it's his baby. He manufactures these sound healing instruments there, and he also organizes training courses. This is in Auroville, Pondicherry. I think if you get the chance, you should definitely visit. Um, why did I, start exploring sound? See, I was in a very dark place quite a while back. Around 2012 was when I started really seeking, and I traveled for a couple of years. I had some lovely experiences. You see, around that time, meditation came back into my life. I used to meditate quite a bit earlier on when I was in school, but then you know how it is. Uh, I got distracted, and so when I got distracted, I let go of that and got into the rigmarole of life. Having meditated quite a bit um, in various places, in various situations, it allows you to see many things. It allows you to explore within and have some amazing, uh, happenings. It's some of these happenings that uh, wanted me to explore sound. Sound was manifesting in so many ways during these meditations, or being in those states of meditation. And so I wanted to explore as to why the sound manifested. I mean, is there some way to make sound, use sound to manifest those states? And so I wanted to explore, and that's when I came across Param, and that's when I went there. It was life changing.
Wow. So the sonorium, I'd never even heard that word before.
Hmm.
And what I saw was fascinating. And with this beautiful room full of light and windows that is containing all of these instruments, which are fascinating one by one. I can't even count the number, but what I was really impressed with was the bed where the patient or the person who
Hmm.
comes for sound healing gets treated, and it has an upside down string instrument like a harp that you play. So tell us a little bit more about that, and who would this benefit? Because today we find that people are seeking wellness. Sometimes it's not necessary that they have a pre-existing condition, but I think also being in nature and having an experience like what I had with you with sound healing, how can that benefit people who come and visit you at Heal Farm and come and spend time in your sonarium?
So the sonorium is the
Adi,
term
I'll
is.
I'll interrupt before you answer that question of Anu. I have an
Hmm.
additional question to what Anu just asked. And I was thinking that how would one know that sound healing is the one for me? So if I were that person, how would I know that it's going to be beneficial for me? So
Hmm.
yeah, along with Anu's question, I thought I could ask that.
You really got me thinking. Um, yeah, I really don't know how to answer that question, though I will try and attempt.
Sure. No, I asked you because over the past few years, especially because of COVID, I would say that I have seen this trend of people inclined towards holistic approach of healing, more than the prescribed medication that we follow. So that's why I thought these days we are trying all different methods of healing that were not as popular as we are making it right now. And people are really getting benefited out of this. So that's why I was asking that how would one know that this is also a path that they could go to? So is it that it is not yet that popular? Because this sounds amazing. I myself am a yoga teacher, and I do not know much about sound healing, and that's why I was so fascinated with this whole Anu's experience. That this is an additional area where one can be benefited, but how would one know? So I'd like to know how. I think you could answer with how you came out to be while meditating, and then you went to Pondicherry and you wanted to explore. So, so
I shall,
first, yeah, please, please.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I shall try and attempt to answer the question. I can't tell you directly um, why you should come for sound healing or anybody else should come for sound
Okay.
healing.
Mm-hmm,
I can tell you what sound healing does. I can tell you how it, um, benefits.
mm-hmm,
As I said, there are three ways that sound healing really works, right? It works on the physical system, works on the mental system, and it works on the energetic system. You see, wellness is a byproduct of sound healing, and healing is a byproduct of wellness. You could choose to um, just sort of retune yourself to perform a little better. Because when the mind gets entrained and you go into this deep space of self healing, sound holds the space. It creates a little space and time so that you can actually relax a bit. And when you're relaxing, our intuition comes to the forefront, our subconscious comes to the forefront. And we can then use that to implant what you want through intent for you, something to happen for you in the future or in the moment,
mm-hmm.
either way. The byproduct of vibrations is that your body is going to detox in any case, right? 70% of our body is water. You add that little input and everything goes and then once you go a little, you just sort of let go of certain things, yes. And you see, we all want to be connected to the consciousness, and the consciousness always wants to be connected with you. It's the natural state of being. Sound can help. So why should you come? Well, I guess now the decision is up to you.
And I also believe my reason for exploring more about sound healing is that, you know, I feel that that could be my own thing, that the more we talk about it, if we talk about it, then we will know more about it, right? So
Yes.
I'm sure there are many who would want to know more. I mean, our we have a curious mind. So when Anu said, I was fascinated because we and sound used as a therapy, but sound healing is not something something new. It has been practiced in different cultures many thousands of years as aged, right? It's not something that's new, but I believe it's the more we talk about it is how we are going to get the interest generated and the awareness, because this is beautiful how you explained how it is when you talked about the frequencies, how the frequencies were matched. And it has got such fascinating facts that you were sharing from your experiences, and how you service people or guests who come. This is very fascinating. I'm glad that Anu brought this up to me and we are able to conduct this. Thank you, Anu,
In,
for that. Please
oh, thank
continue.
you.
I'm enjoying it.
We, in fact, wanted to conduct the discussion in the sonorium, but it's such a pure space,
Hmm.
and even the vibrations of Wi-Fi would affect it. So, in fact, what we're going to do is make a video and show you some of those beautiful instruments that help in the healing process, and drop it in the link below so you can
Okay.
actually click and check it out.
Okay.
But since you talked about cultures, Trisha, I did want to ask you a very interesting question. I chant and I also do
Mm,
shlokas, something that the Hindu culture in
mm,
India that we practice amongst the Hindus.
mm,
But also the Christians sing the hymns, the
mhm,
Buddhists do a lot of chanting,
mhm,
the Sikh do ardas and the azan call for the Muslims. So
mm.
there's always a large element of sound in spiritual practice. Could you share your interpretation on that?
Sound is a very subtle medium. It's, or it can be a very subtle carrier. If people talk about an unstruck sound, if you really consider it, thought too is an unstruck sound. It's a very profound there. It's right there. That thought's happening all the time, isn't it?
Mhm.
Sound has been used across the board for many centuries to take people from a state of being outward to inward, or from inward to outward. Many folk who have sat down, meditated, they're the people who propagated religion by the end of it, isn't it? To show people a way of life that is suitable for that geographical region, maybe multiple geographical regions. Sound also unites. So you mention the azan, there's a call letting everybody know, and a call that, when chanted right, sounds very beautiful and inviting. That happens in all religions. So that's one way that these hymns and calls sort of unite, bring people together. Then there's a structure of the sound, which creates this feeling of rising consciousness. That's done largely by selection of the right notes, creating the overtones, and doing it in a group. When you chant something in a group, like for example, there are a whole hall of people chanting Om. Everybody is going to chant Om through their own vibration. And when they all come together, you'll hear these beautiful overtones that you'll also hear during the hymns being sung. It's this beautiful community gathering, sounds being made together that help people sort of connect and heal at the same given point of time. It allows people to, for some time, shut their mind. because now they're listening to their own true primal vibration and they're listening to somebody else's primal vibration, and the overtones in between that just transport you somewhere else. The sounds of the angels. So whoever's meditated and worked with sound and done all of these things and gone deep, they all want to use that medium. So that's where it would have come up in religion across different cultures and evolved from even a mother's lullaby. So, yeah.
I was thinking the same. When a baby is born, it's probably this the cry is the sweetest sound to the baby itself and also to the parents. And actually, your own breath sometimes, when you were talking about if you're having an anxious moment or we have to deal with a life situation, if we were to hum in a silent space for a few minutes, or like you said, go into breathing and really try to figure out our internal weather or our frequency, it gives us a little bit of a sense of stability, equanimity that leads us into a safe space
Mm,
that then gives you the platform to continue to do what you have to do. So, because this show is all about happiness and improving our mental health, what are some of the practices that we can do on a regular basis to enhance our body system?
mm. Well, the body is flesh and bone and brain electrical communications through it, and the mind, which gives it direction. So I guess we need to have practices which work on all of these aspects. Um, is your question specifically sound practices or other practices too?
What would you recommend, since you are an expert in sound and thinking sound? But if you feel like meditation with sound works to start someone off, because some of us haven't heard about it, like Trisha said, everyone's fascinated.
Mm.
So we would
So sound.
look to you. Yes.
Okay. So, hmm, wonder. You see, humming is a great practice. You could use, and in fact, just add on to humming a movement from a heavier, bassier sound to a higher note, and then bring it back down.
Mhm.
So you could start with something like, "Mm." And then back down. You'll see that this is a great way to actually clear, to clear the energetic system and to also wake up the physical system. And
Is
it's a little
morning a
tune
good,
up.
yeah, is morning a good time, or it doesn't really matter?
Whenever you feel. Whenever you feel like it, you should do it. You can do it through the day 10 times. You can do it once if you like. Yeah.
Nice. Trisha, does our audience have any questions?
So, one question I have is, Adnan, if you can walk um, us through one of the session in the
Mm.
beginning, one of the begin for beginners, someone who is just initiated into sound healing, if you can walk us through
Walk us through.
the
Uh,
initial session. So, what happens? What would one expect?
I see. So, what would a sound session consist of?
Yeah.
You see, there are so many different ways and modalities and approaches to how a sound session would work.
Mm-hmm.
because as I mentioned earlier, it's a very vast subject and you can be used so many different ways.
Right.
Uh, if it is a sonorium session, because you will be showing a video later on the sonorium, let me walk you through that. And if you have a specific question on a specific, like a healing modality of how to use sound and or um, a different practice for something specific regarding sound, um, I'll be happy to answer that too. So you see, the sonorium, as you enter, is a space which has been curated by Aurelio, the musical instruments, and the musical instruments have been created in Swaram too, for that matter. So he chose to base it on the Raga Hamsadhvani. The Raga Hamsadhvani is 5 notes: Sa, Ri, Ga, Pa, Ni, Sa. The Raga Hamsadhvani translates to the song of the swan. So the swan, right? A beautiful bird, elegant, graceful, glides across the water without creating as much as a ripple. That's the raga. That's the raga. That's the effect of the raga. So as one enters, there's this sound bed with these strings underneath it, 50 strings, tuned to sa pa sa, the Muladhara, the Vishuddhi, and the Sahasrara. Person lies down, the bed is activated, and after it's activated, the fixed energy points get activated, the sapa and the sa, using the sapa and the sa. Once it's been activated, then we introduce the other notes and the tones to take one into this space which is like that swan, calm.
Lucid. And they have to not be, they have to have an empty stomach, right? For this experience?
It is better to have an empty stomach for pretty much any of these experiences because you don't want the energy to be diverted towards food being digested
Mm.
or a little discomfort while lying down, which tends to happen when the food is not completely digested. So, definitely, yes.
And loose fitting clothes, preferably, so they're comfortable. And I think you're given a blanket. And also, I really like the fact that you close your eyes or they give us a little bandana, which really makes you focus completely on the sound as you go into a different space or a plane completely. Otherwise, sometimes light can be distracting. And that I thought was a very value added concept to the whole experience. Um, I experienced a kaleidoscope of lights. I felt myself go through various ranges of temperature. And I almost felt like sort of elevated from my bed that I was laying on, almost like, extremely light in my body. And I definitely felt the effect of being really detoxed. I came out with lots of energy. So I'm very grateful to you for that experience. And I have to say that it's something you must do in this lifetime. It's a true YOLO experience. And what's more precious, and what I liked when Adi said, how do I come back and do this again? He says, you don't have to if you don't want to, but if you like it, you can repeat it several times. But you can close your eyes and go back into the same space because that imprint of energy has been, or memory has been already created on my soul. So it's a great way for me to find happiness now. I just close my eyes, I think of that experience, and I'm in absolute bliss. So thank you for this experience and for creating Heal Farm. So tell us a little bit more about
Thank
Heal
you.
Farm
Thank you for the opportunity.
and what else can someone do here besides the sound healing?
Oh, you see, Heal Farm actually came up as a sharing space. So there's a lot of different energies of different people, and they've all come in to create and help move Heel Farm from what it was to what it is now. And I like to um, describe it as a spiritually oriented forest farm, which is open to evolution.
Mhm.
So there are many collaborations that take place over time with various different people. We've had people who have come in to teach master Reiki, acupuncture, acupressure, people who've come to learn. Um, Currently, in its most basic state where the collaborations are not there, the biggest collaborator exists, and that's nature. We're in this forest, right? There's this Satal reserved forest, and we have these little huts, pentagon shaped, with these skylights, non attached composting loos to share an idea of sustainability, um, baths which are open to the sky, buckets.
Mhm.
You warm your water with firewood.
The loo with the view.
Yes, the loo with a view. Yeah, it's
And
a lot of fun.
Trisha, you should come here and do a yoga session or a yoga program. It's such a beautiful space.
Amazing.
And also, I was very impressed with the fact that people can come here and volunteer. And there's a really nice video, which we should share the link in the
Yes.
podcast later, where Adnan is cleaning up the lake in a canoe and he's making sure that nature can sustain itself at its
You,
best.
you saw that video?
I did, and I thought it was very good, and I thought it was quite inspiring,
Yeah.
for India, especially with the Swachh Bharat, and people come and enjoy all of nature, but they forget that they have to come back and do their due diligence and also keeping it clean. So people who want to come and live here and have a good time, enjoy all of the experiences, plus also volunteer to walk around and do some cleanup. That would be fun.
Oh,
I
yes,
guess
that'd
I
be
guess
great.
I have to take a detour to my solo trek in the Himalayas that I've been planning for for the past 2 years. So detour instead of Gomukh. Well, I'm not much familiar with Uttarakhand. It's going to be my first time, but definitely, as Anu said, I have to experience the sonarium, the heel farm, and especially you and your team. I've been hearing great things about this place and you, Adi.
So,
Thank you.
can you tell us a little bit on where we can find you on Instagram, on the website?
Yes, we are on Instagram. Uh, Heel Farm is the handle, and also Outlandish Capers. And our website is just the same, www.heel.farm.
.com?
No dot .com,
Oh, .farm.
dot .farm.
I didn't even know there was a .farm. That's so cool.
Yeah.
It
Well,
is.
this is a beautiful place in Bovali. Am I saying that correct?
Yes, um,
And the closest train station is Haldwani.
is Katgodam.
Oh, it's
But
Yep,
Kathgodam.
Katgodam, which is just one stop ahead of Haldwani.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Wonderful. So people can reach Adi and his team and book a stay at Heal Farm or come for a sound healing session or add value by bringing in their own art forms of therapy or music or dance. I think it actually can be a beautiful festival of wellness. That's what I foresee. So let us know
Let's
if you
do
want
this.
to say something else about your farm that is special and unique that I might have missed.
Well,
The food, the food.
would it be too pompous to say you've got to experience it?
Yes, yes, of course. Beautiful.
The food, yes, definitely. You see, it's all home cooked. and with love. It's beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
quite like
also
it.
those who like Shinrin Yuku forest bathing, this is an ideal spot for that. You can be in complete bliss within 5 minutes of walking within the farm. You have beautiful trees and plants, and I love picking up the acorns from the ground, and I'm going to be painting them and keeping them close to me so I can remember this beautiful place. And when I go back to Canada, and I can celebrate with my friends. So we'll drop some links in the YouTube channel below so you can click and find us. And please subscribe and leave some questions behind so we can answer those questions. Thank you, Trisha.
So
Thank you
it
so
is
much.
heal dot farm, right?
Heal.farm.
Heal dot farm. Great. Okay. Wonderful. I am already, you can, I don't know if you can see clearly, but that the smile that I have is coming from right inside my heart. So this is so beautiful and amazing. I may, yes, I'm thinking that I would maybe I will come over there and see it for myself. It is amazing.
Please do.
Lou with a view. You actually transported me to my childhood days in Meghalaya. So I grew up almost everywhere in India, and I was very little, and we had to come down from the one hill mountain, I would say, down to use the loo, and it would be just open. So
Yeah,
wow, amazing. Being in the nature, what more can you ask for? The best experience, amazing place, and you described it so well. And even I would say that one needs to be at the Heel Farm to experience all these that you mentioned. I mean, me even before going there, very, very beautiful. I would like to thank you, Adnan, for your time. And Anu has been my wonderful friend, my soul sister for many years now. And we have been working together to find, to discover things, places, people as a way to give back to our community from what these places, people have in them. So thank you so much, both of you. Anu, the artist, the life coach, the author. How did I forget that? And Adnan, the sound healer, and much more. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anu.
thank
Thank you
you.
so much, Trisha.
Thank you,
It's been
Trisha.
very kind of you to have me on the show, um, and wishing you the very best and many, many more podcasts and sharing so much love and joy with everyone else. And to all of you, may happiness be always in your life.
Thank you. And I'd like to thank all our viewers, our audience, our listeners. Thank you for your time. And we plan to be back soon. Happiness is simple. It's indeed simple. It's just that we need to find some time to see around us. Happiness could be all around. It's just that maybe someone or that person or that place or that thing we need to be reminded that happiness is around, happiness is simple. Once again, good night, good afternoon, and good morning, wherever you are. Bye bye.